I have to ask you a question about, I was absolutely a fanatic for Homeland.
Oh.
And loved it. And found out only later on that you got to regularly meet with people who did special ops, people who did basically spycraft.
Yes.
And I thought, oh my God, I would do any project where I get to talk to those people.
It was amazing. It was maybe a couple seasons in. One of the writers of the show, Henry Bermel, who actually passed away way too early. He was crazy gifted. But his dad was in the CIA. And so his, I guess his uncle also, anyway, this man who was very closely connected to him was in the CIA and at a very senior position, just retired. And so this became his project where he would assemble, which we ended up calling Spy Camp every year. And there was a club for spooks and in DC, and we would meet there for about 5 days, just as the writers were starting to, think about what the season might be. And we interviewed a pretty wide range of people within that universe, people from within the CIA and also ambassadors and senators and, journalists. And we Skyped with Snowden when that wasn't such a kind of common thing.
Yeah, exactly.
He started doing that
before he had his own Sirius XM channel.
Yeah, exactly. And we would get these forecasts, and it's dizzying. We were so drained by the end of every day because it would start at 9 and it just didn't stop. There was this revolving door of, fascinating people who were telling you horrifying things.
Yeah, it's almost like you don't want to know how the kitchen works. I mean, there are times where I've little moments where I've been brought face to face with the fact that everyone's doing their job the best that they can, but we're human beings, and it's an insane world out there. And if you are aware, I think it's one of the problems today is that we're all hyper aware all the time because of 24/7 news. Mm-hmm. We're all hyper aware of every single possibility for danger all the time. Mm-hmm. And I think that's not meant to be.
Right.
Just to live your day and get up and make the waffles for the kids. Right. And then say, yeah, exactly, whatever. And I think I'll go I need to get some shoes. Oh, I also need a Bluetooth speaker. You need to exist on that level.
Yeah.
But for you to be made aware by these specialists of every single insane thing that's happening all the time.
Yeah. And they would contradict each other. It was fascinating. I don't know. There was something kind of consoling about it too, because I could see that they were all very invested at the very least. Everybody cared a lot. They didn't all agree with each other. But that was a long time ago. I have no idea what that environment is like now. I really can only imagine. But I have to say,
they may have wiped your mind.
They may have.
Men in Black.
They may have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, actually, just doing that show was an amazing way to metabolize what was happening politically. To be able to kind of reflect on it, and make something of it, to comment on it like that was helped me. It helped me feel a little more active. And now I'm just, I'm in the much more passive position of just, absorbing it and gawking and worrying. So I miss that.
Yeah. I've had a few moments, I'm sure you have too. I think you went to a White House correspondents' dinner when Obama was president, and you have these moments of meeting these people, and then you see the people around them. I was at some event years ago, and I believe President Obama was there, and then I went back to use the bathroom at one point. I think I was emceeing something, and I went back and I see some military guys, and there's like the nuclear football, and you're thinking, they just seem like people, and they probably are.
Yeah.
And it's more than I want to know.
Right.
I want to think, do you know what I mean? That there's like a golden palace somewhere.
Right.
No. And look, I'm sure, I don't even know what I saw, but it's just a feeling of when you get around power like that, when you get behind the scenes, it's why I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Whenever I've had a chance to peek behind the curtain just a little bit, what I see is people like me doing the best they can.
Right.
And that's why I don't know. I don't think that it's, I don't think they're just masterminds. If there are masterminds, they're probably working at a tech company.
Yeah.
They're not working.
Yeah. No, there is something kind of unsettling about that for sure. You sort of are like, oh, you look down and there's no net. But yeah, I don't know. That was a wild ride. And
how many seasons was it all told? I'm trying to remember. Eight seasons.
And we filmed
and draining
all
too,
over.
I would think. Yeah.
Yeah, but I never worked on anything for that long. And there was something really wonderful about being part of a company.
Yeah.
And earning that history, and you then develop a kind of fluency that is so helpful. Like we were so efficient, and it was so intimate. And I just loved that feeling of like efficacy, And we would parachute. We filmed all over the place. The first 3 seasons we were primarily in Charlotte, North Carolina, which was standing in for DC, but there were like a month in Tel Aviv, But then it became this international show, and we shot a season in Cape Town, which was, again, standing in for a very different place, but, Afghanistan.
I thought you were going to say Cleveland.
Sure.
We couldn't shoot in Cleveland, so we went to Cape Town, South Africa for Cleveland.
Yeah. And then we shot a season in Morocco. We shot a season in Berlin, and a couple months in Budapest. My son, Cyrus, went to school in all these places. Like, he still can't eat couscous because he ate it every day at his school.
What a great experience for a kid, though, because you're through osmosis, he's getting a taste of all these cultures at a really good early age.
Yeah, and he doesn't really share that with his siblings. Rowan I was also pregnant with Rowan shooting the show, but he was little. He was, he was like a baby by the end of it. So, wasn't like, Cyrus was raised on that set too, and Leslie Lincoln Glatter, our primary director, she would literally like cradle him, and and then eventually, while she was directing, and then eventually he would call action and cut, and he, I remember when he was a toddler, he was like 3, he'd get really mad at me. He would say, "Back to 1, mommy."
They shouldn't even know that.
I know. I was like, what?
Back to 1.
Back to it. So, and on the set, you're back to your first positions at the end of a take. But anyway, so.
Well, it's funny because my daughter, I remember when she was maybe 3, she was really small, and she said something like, I was in the kitchen, and she said, "Yeah, I asked for orange juice," and then cut to you not getting the orange juice. And I was like, cut to, because I spoke that way all the time after just years of being in comedy.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my God, a 3-year-old is saying cut to. So I think that's how I told her bedtime stories. And then cut to evil monster. I used to try to frighten her to go to sleep. But yeah, they just pick up the lingo. They're around. Yeah,
and he would be on a playground, and he would kind of teeter up to another kid and say, "My name is Cyrus. I speak English," because it wasn't a given that the other person necessarily would. And I thought, oh, that's cool. Like he understands that the world is big, and it holds many different kinds of people within it.
And probably also he's very fluent in his percentages. What do I get from this?
Yes, there's a lot of that, generally. What do I get from this?
What do I get?
Yeah.
Then my kid's very interested, my son, very interested in, what do I get out of this?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of talk of fairness.
You get nothing, and you'll like it.